Let us begin by waving and greeting our friends on Zoom, saying good morning to them, and Zoomies greeting us. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lynchburg. Here we gather in a spirit of freedom and friendship. Whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, whatever your age, whatever your gender identity, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we work together for justice, compassion, and peace, we also acknowledge with humility that our buildings sit on Monacan land. My name is Joan Lewis Yoder, and I have been a member of UUCL for 8-ish years, something like that. If you are with us for the first time, we are glad you chose to be here this morning to participate in the service for this church community we love. We would be happy to tell you more about our community during virtual social time, on Zoom, or in person in Drysdale Hall following the service. If you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter or our Friday email blasts, you can fill out the yellow card in the seat pocket in front of you and drop it in the offering basket. Or if you're on Zoom, you can fill out the contact form on the homepage of our website, uulynchburg.org. You may also wish to join us on Facebook. For those of you on Zoom, please note that the order of service is in the chat to the right of your screen if you're using a PC, and if you're using a phone, the link is at the bottom of your screen. All right, as we enter our time of worship, we light the flame of our chalice, sharing these words that are printed in the front of our hymn.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life. Our opening words this morning were written by John M. Higgins. Welcome to this place. This is a home where no revealed truths are promoted and no scripture or human being accepted as infallible. This is a place for searching for truth. But we are believers. We believe in intellectual freedom. We believe in justice. We believe in compassion and concern for each other and for the world. We believe in commitment to those ideals which make us caring and active in the struggles for human dignity. We are Unitarian Universalists. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 148, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Uh, I don't usually do this. Time for all ages. Are you doing that, Eve?
Someone had chosen a book, I think they were going to share.
I don't see Courtney. She's not here.
I know that was the plan. Um, but let's see, I could try to wing something.
Okay, young people, young at heart, can gather at the front.
You guys have such a great amount of kids. I love seeing you guys in the sanctuary. Good morning, everybody. I can pretty well see you, but I can see that you see me. I'm Eve, and I grew up Unitarian Universalist in about at the time, 100-member congregation in Clemson, South Carolina. And your minister, Reverend Terry, was my minister. And under her, we grew a lot. And she's done a lot for my family and for me as a minister. So I just love her. And today I'm going to be talking with the adults about anxiety, but really just about difficult feelings. Has anyone had this week, if you're comfortable sharing, any feeling you had that was uncomfortable or hard? Something like feeling sad or angry or nervous? Anybody have a feeling like that this week? I know I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they've been going to a different summer camp every week. So every time on a Monday, they're like, Mom, I don't know anybody at this camp, and I don't really know what we're going to be doing. And when we don't know what to picture or who we're going to be around, sometimes our body kind of sends these nervous signals. Like for me, sometimes my palms get a little damp and sweaty, or I'm like, it's a little harder to breathe. My chest feels tight, or I just feel kind of quiet. I don't feel like talking to people as much. Have any of you felt that before if you don't know what to expect? Yeah. Well, one trick you can do when you're feeling that way, you would think it might make sense to just try to ignore those hard feelings. But actually, if you think of them as a shape or an animal, can you do that? You can think of it in your head. If you want to say an idea out loud, I'd love to hear it. So if I feel nervous right now, I feel like my nervousness looks like a frog inside me because it's kind of jumping around. Do any animals come to your mind, adults or kids, or shapes or colors that would be your feeling? What was it?
Alexandra said a pacing cat.
Oh, that is so good. Exactly. Yes, a pacing cat. I can just feel that and see that. Anybody else, an animal or a shape? Well, think of this. So, Alexander and everybody, the pacing cat. So, when you feel the next time you're kind of nervous because you don't know what to expect, I don't know these people, or I don't know the routine or what I'm going to be doing, think for a second, oh, I noticed that pacing cat. Just seeing the cat is the first step. And then what could you do to help the cat kind of feel calm and safe? What could you do? Did you say pet the cat? That's what I'm picturing. And I'm even picturing kind of lifting the cat into my arms and sort of just taking deep breaths and petting his head. That's perfect. That is just beautiful. So the next time you're sort of feeling a hard feeling, pause a second, take a breath, get to know it, what shape it is. And then whatever the shape is, think to yourself, how would I make this animal, this shape, this color feel safe and seen and loved? That's all you have to do. You don't try to have to scare it away or anything. Just hold it closer. And sometimes when it releases, it gives you a new power and new energy to feel brave and calm and more like yourself. So I hope you remember that this week. And I'm so honored that I got to spend a little time with all of you. And thank you for being here in community with these people of all ages. It's one of the greatest gifts I think a person can have. So I'm so glad you're here, and thanks for letting me talk at you.
Keepers of the flame of fire. The ministries of our church are supported by the love, talents, and efforts of our many volunteers and staff, as well as the monetary support of our members and friends. If you found this church to be of value in your life, then I invite you to be generous, as our morning offering is freely given and gratefully received. We receive these monetary gifts along with the gifts of your time, work, and creativity, which also sustain our church. As together we give generously to support our congregation, let us also commit ourselves to a unity of spirit to make manifest a more just, peaceful, and loving world. It is our tradition. And I believe Eve has a reading for us.
That's right. So this reading comes from an essay by a Buddhist enthusiast, maybe a teacher too, named Keith Clifford. And his essay was called How to Defeat the Enemy. He writes, enemies can be both external and internal. Eastern philosophy schools look at conflicts and even the concept of victory over an enemy in a completely different way from Western ones. In particular, the destruction of the enemy or the deprivation of the enemy's honor and dignity are not considered a victory at all. To win means to neutralize those who want to harm, and if possible, to do so in such a way as to turn the enemy into a friend. If an enemy wants to harm you and you decide to try to understand them instead of rejecting them, then your enemy loses power over you. To us, such a conflict approach may seem very strange. It invites connection rather than rupture, compassion rather than aggression. That was beautiful. Thank you. I have noticed something. The first time one of my kids asks to show me something, the first time the request is made at a reasonable volume. Hey, Mom, come here. I want to show you something. Sometimes hearing this in response, I continue to stay busy in the kitchen. I might mumble a distracted acknowledgement. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I don't look at them as I say this half-hearted promise. When I hear them, my mind wants to press forward with the task at hand. Don't get distracted, my mind is saying. Accomplish this first. Get just one more dish out of the dishwasher. Cut just one more carrot. Forward, onward, more. Keep going. Don't get distracted. The second and third time I hear the request, Mom, I need to show you something. It's a little louder. Each word is a little sharper. My kids can sense my distraction no matter what I say. Even if I say, oh, cool, yeah, you can't wait to see, but I'm not looking in their direction, or my mind hasn't stilled to truly take them in. Even if they're in the other room, the sound of my voice conveys that I'm not really listening. And they get louder still. Mom, look at this, Mom. The request is more urgent now, and actually not really a request anymore. They seem less able to convey what they need, more out of control, loud, chaotic. And around this point, their intention shifts. It's no longer a desire to show something interesting to me. Now their voices start to carry a desperate, frantic note. They are now expressing what it feels like to not be heard, not be seen, not be acknowledged. And the original intention to show me something disappears. It's now hidden behind how desperate they are to get my attention. And by the time they get so loud that I cannot focus on my present task anyway, I finally walk over to be next to them. And by then, they are usually so agitated that I have to sit down, get down to their eye level, and hold still. Sometimes by then, they need a hug or to be rocked back and forth. We have to connect for a moment before they can tell me anything. And I have to make my voice soothing and spend time essentially showing them I'm here, I see you, I'm listening. You're not alone, I care, you matter. I have to convince them that I am present, really listening, before they can even remember the interesting thing they wanted to show me. But then they do. They show me what they needed me to see, tell me what they needed me to know. And then that specific need in them dissipates and is gone. And we move on to the next experience. It is like this with anxiety too. Anxiety starts off at a reasonable volume. It may be a subtle tightness in our stomach. And so often when that subtle tightening happens, our mind pushes us forward. Don't get distracted. Keep doing things. Keep getting things done. Move, go, do. Probably because our mind knows that it will be inconvenient and definitely uncomfortable to sit still and notice that tightness and listen to what it wants to show us, what it wants us to know. So then, of course, the anxiety gets louder. Maybe now our thoughts are racing. And when we press on without pausing to listen, without pausing to be present with what we are feeling, the anxiety gets louder still. And maybe before we realize what's happening, we're 5 minutes into imagining in grave detail how the car we're driving is going to crash, how our society is going to come apart so much faster than we'd ever imagined. And we're playing out in our head what we'll do to fight it and how it will hurt and what we're going to lose. And maybe we still don't pause to listen, or the anxiety is loud enough now that we notice it, but we don't know how to fix what we're feeling. So rather than listen, we try to fight it. Stop. We say, be quiet. There's no time to sit around and worry. Keep moving. Not realizing, of course, that the anxiety doesn't want to be fixed. It wants to be heard. So our anxiety gets so loud that our back, our neck, our jaw becomes so tight that we can't sleep. Our stomach is so upset it starts to take up more and more of our time and attention each day. It's harder just to breathe. And the louder anxiety gets, the more distant its original intention becomes. The important thing that the original tightness in our stomach wanted to show us is hidden behind the chaotic, frantic, desperate need to be heard. Originally, it may have been that anxiety made our stomach tighten as a way of saying, hey, what you just heard on the radio, that's scary. Pause. Hold still a moment. Notice you feel helpless. You don't feel safe. That first nudge from anxiety is an invitation to see something about ourselves that it wants to show us. The more we try to keep going, to ignore that difficult feeling, knowing that it will be inconvenient and definitely uncomfortable to sit with, the louder it gets, until we are lost inside of it rather than present with it. Lost inside of it rather than present with it. And it may seem like if we give anxiety our attention, it would get louder or bigger. And it may seem strange that the way to get a difficult feeling to dissipate is not by resisting it or fighting it, but by becoming fully, compassionately present with it. Pausing long enough to connect and listen. Letting anxiety tell you what it needs you to know so that it can be set free and fade away to make room for the next experience. Because this is so counterintuitive that we should go toward rather than away from a difficult feeling, a dear mentor of mine, Dr. Emily Caldwell, taught me this trick I want to share with you to help us remember in the moment. So if you are able, make a fist with one of your hands. And if you aren't able to make a fist, just observe your neighbor's experience. So this fist is something difficult, some difficult feeling that we don't want to be feeling. So let's say anxiety. So try now with your other hand to pry your fist open. And just notice how your fist responds as you try to pry it open. Just notice what it does. Okay, now keep the fist, this difficult feeling, And now bring your other hand underneath it and cradle it, support it. And just notice what happens. Just notice how the fist responds when you do that. And then you can just relax, put your hands wherever. So for a lot of people, when we try to pry the fist open, try to force it, it fights back. It kind of resists being opened. And when you provide it with support, for a lot of people, you notice it sort of relaxes slightly and it opens a little bit. Our instinct seems to be to treat anxiety like an enemy, to protect ourselves from it and fight it. And it is causing us physical and emotional pain. So that's a pretty understandable instinct. By most definitions, that's what an enemy does to us. And it makes sense to want to protect ourselves and fight back at something that's causing us pain. Part of this response is instinct, and part of it is conditioning. When we watch shows or news or read books created by the white Western patriarchal culture that we've all been raised in, the lessons that we learn about enemies in our culture are about how to fight them, degrade them, discredit them, vanquish them. The posture we learn for facing an enemy is understandably armored and aggressive. So it feels new and strange to consider approaching what causes us discomfort or even pain with curiosity and compassion, learning to believe that it's coming to us not only as a threat, it is a threat, but not only as a threat, but also as a teacher. When a difficult feeling is seen, heard, and honored, it dissipates. Given our presence and compassion, it shows us what it wants us to see, tells us what it wants us to know, and then it moves along. It's set free, making room for the next experience. When a difficult feeling is honored and cared for and listened to, then when it dissipates, this magical, mysterious alchemy takes place. The rage, the grief, the anxiety transforms into a new kind of energy inside of us. An energy that makes us feel bigger rather than smaller, more grounded than untethered, more brave than scared, more loving than vengeful, more held than alone. And immersed in this flow, when we look at our world, we learn again and again to greet the rage as teacher, the anxiety as friend, the grief as sage, each telling us something we need to know, expanding us, making us ready for all the ways that we will heal and build and make new things possible. Blessed be. Amen. And now I want us to spend some time together in meditation. But before we do, we're going to use the fist again, just a gentle fist, doesn't have to be a hard one. And if you're able, just take your knuckles and gently but firmly put them just below your earlobe and then kind of massage down to your collarbone and back up. You can support your arm if that helps. And just do that for a little bit, back and forth, earlobe to collarbone, gentle but firm. This is a very good way of soothing our vagus nerve, which is part of what gets us into fight or flight. And now if you would switch sides, earlobe to collarbone, just a little neck massage. And then when you're ready, you can just put your hands back in your lap and close your eyes. We'll do a little breathing together. You're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Our bodies send us all kinds of signals. They use a language of sensation to speak to us and say, here's what's happening, or here's what I need to feel safe. And this form of breath in through your nose, out through your mouth is a really good language to use in response. Because when we breathe in and out of our mouth, that gears up our nervous system, that brings us more energy. But when you breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth, it calms us, tells us all is well in this moment. And if you exhale for longer than you inhale, your body can understand even more clearly that you are safe in this moment. So just practicing that a moment, maybe your hand is on your belly if that feels good. In through your nose, and then exhale for longer than you inhale out of your mouth. Be empty all the way before you breathe back in. And just feeling as you breathe, returning to your body. As you breathe, letting mind, body, and spirit arrive in the same place. They don't spend much time all in the same place. So just in through your nose, out through your mouth, noticing your body, listening to your body's sensations and responding with your breath. And knowing as our world feels more out of control, chaotic, violent, scary, just knowing that whatever resources we have as an individual and a community to respond, to build resilience, as your chalice lighting words say, using our powers to help and not to harm, heal and not to harm. We access those powers, those abilities most profoundly when we're in this state, when we are in our bodies. Mind, spirit, body are in one place, present with our fear, our grief, our rage, rather than lost within it. We will be more capable. Our efforts will be more sustainable and more potent. And just with a few final deep breaths, remembering that you share in one breath. We're not alone in anything that we're feeling. We breathe the same air. We're not alone. Just take 2 more deep breaths in your time. Make sure you exhale all the way. You might even curl forward. You exhale so fully. Back in through your nose. And again. And then as you're ready, just slowly blinking your eyes open. Coming back to shared space together. And we're gonna sing our final hymn. It's number 148 in the gray hymnal, or we'll see the lyrics together on the screen. Let freedom span both east and west. And you can rise in body or spirit. We'll sing together.
As our service draws to a close, we extinguish the flame of our chalice as we say these words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let's end our service by waving farewell to our friends on Zoom and Zooming, waving to us roomies.
And I'll send us off with a good word from Rumi, Zoomies and Roomies and Rumi. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in.
up for.
Got to blow out the candles.
Hey, Joy. Hey, Dick.
Hi, Dick.
Thank you all for having me. It was so good to be with you.
Always wonderful to have you here, Eve.
Yeah,
Thank
loved your message again.
Oh,
thank
And-
you
good.
so much.
And you did a wonderful job taking over for the kids there, just
Oh,
in the instant, in that instant, and came up with a great thing to tell the kids. So you did a great job.
That was a
Thank
home
you,
run,
Dick.
Eve. That was a home run.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Thank
Yeah,
you, Eve.
I was like, come on, this is convenient because I'm feeling nervous, so we can just
It
talk
was
about
great. It was great. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you again soon,
Good.
luckily.
Yay. Good. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a great
Thank you
Sunday.
again.
Bye.
It's always wonderful to have Eve with us. She always does a great job.
She does.
Yes, I really enjoy her times that she's here.
I hope she'll bring Adam sometime.
Mm. Priscilla, how are you feeling with your vertebrae?
I'm doing about the same. I not able to come and sit for a long period of time, so that's why I'm staying home.
Are you
I
kind
I
of
think tomorrow I will be getting a back brace from the orthopedic doctor. And hopefully that will help reduce the pain level.
so sorry. I hope it will. Braces can do that. They can be very helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
Oh,
So how are you all doing?
Priscilla, I was going to say, I don't know if you've tried anything for the pain, but I was prescribed lutein, 5% lutein pads, and put them on my arthritic knees, and it really helped. Kind of thing would help you. You might want to look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Ann and Larry, how are you?
bad. We're here.
How are you doing, Makana?
Well, pretty well. This is as you may or may not know, my twin sister is now in home hospice up in Connecticut.
Yes.
So I'm sort of managing that from afar. So we just sort of do day by day. But she seems to be comfortable and not in pain. And we discovered that she still can read because I bought her found a wonderful poster, pretty, some horses, sort of like wild horses galloping through a field, and the sky is kind of a kind of a rainbow color, and across on the poster it says peace, love, horses. And so we put it on the wall so because she's bedbound now, so she can see it, and she looks at it all the time. And yesterday, when her home health aide was giving her a bed bath, she looks at it and she says peace. So then he pointed to the other word and she said love, and he pointed to the other word and she said horses. So that's good because we didn't know whether she could, with frontotemporal lobe dementia, one of the things that goes is your ability to read. So she still can read, and she looks at the picture. It's a nice big poster, sort of. It's one of those things you can sort of go into, and given how much she loves horses, so I'm glad I found it, and I'm glad it's there right now. So
That's perfect.
yeah,
Nice.
doing okay. It's just one of those, it's one of those transition times. Life has those times, and that's what we're in right now. So.
Yeah.
So, and we're also very much getting ready, sorting and giving away and getting ready to make the move to Westminster Canterbury in September. So it's a busy season.
When will you be moving to
I
Westminster?
don't know exactly. I think it'll be sometime between the 1st and the 8th, but I don't know for sure. They haven't, they've started the renovations about a week and a half ago. And we have learned from some people, sometimes they finish early, which was astounding to me. I never think of a renovation project as ending early.
No.
But that would be fine. Might not be ready. We wouldn't have to be, but so hopefully that means at least they'll be on time. We'll hope. So we'll see. We will see.
which unit are, which,
We're in,
cot?
we have a cot 142. We have a cottage on Westminster Way. And my good friend Kit Sidner is right across the street, and we've met lots of nice people. We've even bought our golf cart because you have to have a golf cart. We don't play golf. We've never bought a golf cart before, okay? But Kit had heard that from another neighbor that he wanted to sell his. His wife passed away and he uses an electric wheelchair. So about a week or so ago, we went over and met him, Ken White. His wife was the person who did the old city cemetery, and they've both been
Oh.
pretty active. Anyway, so we gave it a spin, and it seemed okay. And then we said, well, we are interested, and what do you want for it? And he said, I don't know. And he said, why don't you make an offer? And we said, we don't know, you know. We've never done this. So we called Sales Golf Cart, and they came out, they sent out a technician to sort of evaluate it, and went over it with Bob, and there were a couple of things that needed to be, one thing, I guess, the minor repair. And then they also were willing to give us what they would have, what their sales range would have been. So we could, we could reach a decision about something none of us knew anything about. So it all worked out. So we got a good deal, and so we have a golf cart. So it was sort of funny, like none of us knew, we don't do this, you know. Beats me, a golf cart. So it was a very good deal. So anyway, so we're sad, both sad to leave the property and looking forward to the moves, you know. Anyway,
Right.
You're moving?
yeah, yes, to Westminster, Canterbury.
Oh, oh gosh. You have lots of friends over there, so it'd be
Yep.
nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I think my parents are considering moving because I think they had a realtor over, and I think they get she didn't tell me the exact figure, but of what the realtor thought they could get for their house, but it was something. It was probably more than they were thinking, and they were like, "Well, you know, we've been wanting to do this for a while." They too are thinking about moving to Westminster Canterbury. They are actually in the Canterbury Club, which is kind of like
That's
the
one of the
pre
preliminaries.
the
Yes.
pre the pre the pre the pre the pre the like the pre-step.
Yep. And then the next
So
one.
they are thinking of there's a townhouse community out on Boonesboro, St. Paul. Well, it's on St. Paul Drive. I don't know if what the name of the community is, but they're like, they're like step down houses. They're like, townhouses. And then a lot of people there kind of waiting for Westminster.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and they know people there, and so they're starting that process. So
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I need to take off. See y'all later next week.
Bye.
I
Bye-bye.
did.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Ann and Larry, do you now have all your air conditioning is right the way it should be, right?
Oh,
By
yeah,
now?
yeah.
Good, because it's gonna be
Working
bad this
fine.
week. Bad this week. Oh, gonna be full blown. Full
Keep
blown.
your fingers crossed it keeps working, right?
Yeah, right, for everybody. Right, for sure. For sure. Mm.
So Priscilla, this back problem you have,
Yes.
is that something you've had for a while, or is it just all of a sudden happen?
It was an accident when I was at the beach. I had a fall and hurt it then. So we had to call short our vacation. We were going to stay for the next weekend to go to a ukulele festival and to do a performance there. But it happened the day before the festival started.
Wow.
We actually stayed camping. We have a camper trailer, one day so that Chris could perform, and we didn't do the duet because I wasn't able to move around at all then. But we decided to just cancel the festival and come back home where I would be more comfortable and be able to see my own doctors here.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's a shame.
So the doctor says it'll be about 6 rough weeks and then we'll slowly get better.
Okay.
Mm.
So just taking my time.
That's
Just embrace it, right?
Right. I kind of applied that's what she was saying today about holding that and embrace it. And I was like, yeah, it works for pain too.
Yep, it sure
Uh-huh.
does. It sure does. It was a very interesting image. It was very interesting to have that experience of what your fist
Mhm.
felt like when you cradled it. I was like, what a great idea. So
Yeah.
Yes.
it was good. Yeah. Oh, it's hard though. It's true with pain. That's true.
Well, I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Right. Right.
Okay, well,
All right. Well, I'm gonna
keep getting
see if I
better.
can let's see
Have a
if I can figure out how to sign off. Chris signed me on before he went to church this morning. Um,
But
so I don't know how to turn it off.
you should have something that maybe you have a little icon somewhere that says leave. On my screen, it's at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side,
Yeah, it says end.
or
End meeting.
end or leave or something.
No, I
I
have
mean, the
one
meeting will
that
end.
says allow to send notifications. Let's see.
Go up,
One
look up.
that says mute.
Yeah.
You're on a computer.
Yes, it's on a desktop computer.
It should be end at the bottom. It says end, and there's a red hexagon around it. Bottom right.
Oh, there's a little door with the
Yes,
person.
the little person.
Leave.
You're
That's
leaving.
it.
Okay.
That's what you click.
All right. Well,
Click.
thank you all
Little
very
person.
much.
Yep.
Thanks. I hope you
I'm
have.
leaving.
I hope the brace helps.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
Bye-bye.
David, how are you? We haven't checked in with you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Things are things. Council seems to have come to their senses, so we still don't have a budget, even though the fiscal year starts in another week. But maybe we'll get a. It was like, oh yeah, just everyone has same levels as last year. Go about your business, which I mean wouldn't be best because no raise, but it would still be better than
Great.
cutting 10% of the workforce.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully, once they, I mean, because we did want the renovations, that might not be in it, but one of the things, if we didn't get the renovation this year, they're going to do is they're going to move. You've ever been to the library, but we have a computer lab, but we don't really use it as a computer lab. I mean, it's basically people just using computers, and we don't use it as like a classroom. They're going to move most of those computers basically out onto the floor, so that we can have that room as our own dedicated programming space,
Okay.
because we don't have a dedicated programming space, really. So if we want to do a program, we have to use the community meeting room, or we have to bug youth for their youth activity room, and then there's all sorts of things, and it would be just nice to have a place, be like, hey, we want a program here. We have an entire room dedicated to it.
Good. That sounds great. That sounds like a great idea.
So, that should be coming shortly, and we'll go from there.
Good luck with that.
Yep.
And there is there's some expense, because they have to basically put like like networking ports outside, so that
Yeah.
we
Right.
can move some of those. We will end up having fewer computers, but we don't use all the computers that we have currently. So it it shouldn't impact, the services we provide, because we ran the numbers and it was something like with the number of computers that we were going down to, something like 30 minute, or like less than an hour of being at capacity over the last 6 months. So it wasn't that big of a deal in terms of making sure that we have enough computers for the people that were wanting to use them. So
You think there'll be any difference when you move them out onto the floor, that they might be more interest in them?
not really. Because I mean, if people want them, they're there.
Yeah, but
Given
people can walk into the library and not even know they're there.
Yeah, well, we do have computers that are outside, so that if people want them, they can use them.
Yeah,
We don't get there's not a whole lot. I mean, there is some use for them, but with a lot of people having internet access on their phones, even those
yeah,
of lesser means, because basically if you're in a government program like food stamps or Medicaid, all that stuff, you can get a phone from the government that they'll basically pay for your service. And so basically what people do is they'll do, if they need to have the computer format for like job searching or classes or something that isn't great for the phone, because the phone's not great for some things, and as well as for printing as well. So but yeah, it will be nice to have a dedicated room for programming,
yeah,
so that we don't have to, because for a lot of our programs, the community meeting room is a bit overkill, because the community meeting room, the maximum capacity is like 300 or something, um, but it could easily fit a program of 100 people. And most of our programs are 10 to 15.
Yeah.
So and then it doesn't, especially during tax time, it'll be really nice next spring when um you know taxes are in there 4 days a week for the morning. We'd be like, oh yeah, we'll just use the room. And we won't have to coordinate with another department. And who knows, maybe even at one time they'll be like, youth will be like, hey, all of our rooms are full and we need your help, and we're like, sure, we'll be glad to do it for you, because they have the story time room, and they have the youth activity room, and the community meeting room. So
That's good. That's
I'm gonna have to say bye-bye. I have a couple of jobs left to do before dinner at 12. Good to see everybody.
good
Yeah.
to see you. See you next week. Thanks,
Okay.
David,
but
for all your help.
Thanks, McConnell. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, I'm just gonna sign everybody off then.